We get from Rosanna, actually, when I think about it.
How many presidents died on July 4th?
2, I think, right?
I borrowed it from you a long time ago and I've been meaning to bring it back.
Founding fathers.
Actually 3.
Is it 3?
My son Hunter got
My
it.
pen in there?
Jefferson?
1. Another guy who signed Declaration of Independence. And they died on the same day.
Yeah, no, I only died the same day. It was, not Adam. When you tell me a minute ago, oh, of course I should have known that.
The other one that died, but he died
So
11 years later was, I was going to say Calvin Coolidge.
I'm just thinking about what the motion is.
Or was somebody who was born on. There was 3 guys died. Jefferson and Adams. Both died on July 4th.
All right, so if I sit down. Yeah.
You want to make it?
And the other one that died 11 years later was Calvin Coolidge.
That I didn't.
There you go. Born in Philly for 1,000. And one was born on July 4th. I'm trying to work who that was.
Was that, what's his name, right from Columbia County?
Was that cool?
No, I can't think of his name, president from Columbia County.
Van Buren.
Yeah, wasn't Van Buren born July 4th? He was the first natural born American, too.
That could have been Van Buren.
I think it might have been Van Buren.
All right, so I think this is the motion we need. I'll move to authorize myself and the supervisor to draft a letter terminating a particular professional services contract, which may lead to potential litigation.
Is it sign a letter?
What did I say?
Draft.
Oh, sorry, sign a letter, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I make the same motion for the town of New Paltz.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and now, could you guys somebody fill the village board in on the Cassano annexation? We got an email, I believe, just today.
On the Cassano annexation, which is...
I think you guys are just asking for more time?
Right, what it is Susan looked into it. There has to be deemed a public benefit for both the village and the town. And since there is no present plan, without a plan, neither the village nor the town can decide if there is a public benefit. So we spoke to the applicant at our meeting last week, and he agreed to extending the time. So we will be extending him time to which bring us a plan so we all know if there's a benefit on the plan.
How long is the extension?
I talked to Susan today. They were negotiating the time, and we expect to hear from them shortly on the amount of time.
Susan would like, she did request that they apply to us by our first meeting in June. So that would be
Could we, would it make sense for the village to make a motion that an extension of time be granted to the completion of the annexation, not to exceed 2 months?
That's fine.
I would like us to add this as an agenda item. We did not advertise it as being on the agenda this evening, and I'm going to move that it be added to the agenda for the purposes of discussion.
This evening?
This evening.
This evening.
Okay, second,
Is
all in
a
favor?
joint board or?
We also
It's a
haven't
joint
had any
board.
public input on the
Right,
joint
but-
town board.
You're adding that as a joint agenda item, okay.
I am.
Okay,
So move for the town.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second?
did we already vote?
No,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and that is, yes?
Jason had previously seconded it.
Oh, you did?
See? All right,
Sheesh.
so that is the only item of business left for the joint meeting, but Sally's right, we also didn't do any public comment.
Then the only other joint, if anyone's interested in it, is just an update on the pool. And unfortunately, we have no great update on the pool. There's a difficulty with the pump, the shaft, the bearings. We were hoping it would be this weekend. We had a meeting down there about 2 hours ago, and I wish I had a better answer. Chris and I will be on with the manufacturer of the pump around somewhere between 8 and 9 in the morning. We'll be on a call, and hopefully we'll have better news for you.
Okay.
So as we get news, we will update everybody on the status of the pool.
Is there any public comment for the joint boards together? We have keep in mind we have a village board meeting right after this.
We're adding Moriella and we're adding.
No? Okay. We don't need to discuss Moriello anymore, but we just,
Just Tucson and Moriella, is it?
no, we don't need Moriello. Jeff just gave us the whole update.
Unless you had another,
Excuse me. We and the last board meeting agreed on what were capital projects and what weren't capital projects. This is a capital project, but the contract says we must be a part of the bid specs.
This is a warranty claim, though.
right now, we're still working on a warranty claim. It's a brand new
On the bid
pump.
that the pump that we bought.
This is a brand new pump, brand new pump, brand new shaft, brand new impeller, brand new castings.
And so
Pump that
the
we
pump,
bought. Okay.
it has a defective piece, and what Chris Marks is trying to do is to get permission from the manufacturer to take this particular part or piece apart so that it can be repaired. He doesn't want to do that without express written permission from the manufacturer, otherwise he'll void the warranty.
So we're talking to the manufacturer. We do have a local contractor who does specialize in pool pumps and the control units with them. And if we can get permission from them tomorrow, we hope to have it apart tomorrow. And they're actually over in Newburgh, so that's what we're looking for.
Would it be easier just to call in the warranty and get a new pump?
We have done that, and it's a pump. There's not many companies that do it, and they're interested in servicing for something for which they've received full payment.
We're working on it.
We are working on it.
Working on it.
It's being worked on, but it's going to take our sweat equity and Chris Marks's sweat equity for which it to happen. If we wait for them, we will not.
I mean, because we just bought this pump together. and
Absolutely.
the warranty
We
means
believe
if it's
it's.
a defect, you replace it.
And we've spoken to both the people that spec the pump out, we've spoken to the company that has installed it, and we've actually we're in discussions with the actual pump manufacturer. So we are speaking to three different
Okay.
organizations.
Well,
Hopefully we'll have, but finding someone that's actually willing to show up from a long distance is a difficulty, and our interest is opening the pool sooner than later.
All right.
Do you guys have anything else for the joint board while we're here, or?
So we need to
Well, we've got the
action on
Cassano
Cassano to extend the 2 months?
You guys just did? And I think.
No, we opened
opened for the
added it to the
agenda.
We
agenda.
added it to the agenda.
Oh, I thought you said for 90, not to exceed
Well,
90.
that was the discussion point, so.
And I'll second your motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I make the same motion for the town of New Paltz.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is that it?
That's it.
All right,
That's it.
so I'll move to close the joint meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to close the joint meeting.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Done.
It's always been fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you all for being here.
No, thank you.
You want to enjoy your
We
meeting?
will pick a date.
Yeah.
I'm
And if you
sure
guys
we
need to
will.
meet 5:30, please, just, it's Monday is out of pocket for me, definitely.
Okay, I just know we want to
I know. No,
at
I'm
least
good.
have our initial meeting.
I know.
So you can't make it on Mondays? What
No.
what do we do?
Not until, we have police commission at 7:30, I can't do 5:30. Sorry.
How long does your police commission meeting go?
That's gonna be about 2 hours.
You, okay. Enjoy. I'm sorry.
Thank you, folks. All right.
Joanna, I think he's waiting for you to go
Oh,
to.
he's going home with Jeff though, right?
What?
She could stay in her own right.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to stay. Village residents.
All right.
I've forgotten his key.
Would you all please rise for the pledge of
Oh.
allegiance?
Texting with Joanna. She was like, what happens when I don't let him in?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, now we've got a couple of additions. I'm a little bit confused now because I had a pile of things in my mailbox.
Okay,
I'm not sure which are
there's
for tonight and which are for,
one that I'd like to move up first.
what do you?
It's the memorandum from Brenda White regarding the Adams property, yes, 156 Main,
You're putting that on the agenda.
yes. The neighbor, the Adams could not be here, but their neighbors are here to speak to the topic.
Okay. We have, yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry.
We have the website proposed designer RFP.
Do we want to do that tonight?
I do.
Yes.
Oops.
It's from
Okay, that's what I thought.
the one that you got emailed.
We-
I'm sure you saw it.
I think we have two, don't we?
Very, very,
And this park use request
I don't know if
form
I'm prepared to.
Was
talk
received
about
today.
that. That's okay.
received today. All right, I'd like to move to add that.
We add that to the consent agenda?
Yeah.
The park use request?
Yeah, is that,
Well, we had,
Oh,
we just had an.
right, I'll
okay.
explain that.
If there's been something that's moved on, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Consent
Will and I
agenda.
met with them yesterday, and Will is drafting up a proposal. We're gonna go, I want to talk about an executive session briefly.
Okay, so this is not
Okay,
consent.
that's fine.
That shouldn't act on that.
Well, this I think is separate than the other issue we were doing. This is a fifth grade play in
This
Peace
is a
Park.
singular.
A singular,
They go together?
no, it's not about the, what we were talking about with the
It's not
school
the
was the
agency.
playground. And this is a class at Mount Laurel that
Okay,
wants to
let's
use,
add park use to consent then.
is that all right? Well, if there's an
That's-
objection, then it shouldn't.
I mean, it's,
It's not related to what Will and I were meeting with him about anyway.
okay,
It's just a fifth grade class. He wants to have his play outside in the amphitheater in Peace Park.
right, no, I see that.
So is there any objection to adding that to consent?
No.
No?
Okay.
But we need to take number 11 off the consent agenda because I haven't seen an RFP from Will Frank.
Okay.
Katie, did he send it to us?
I'm sorry, he did not. I did anticipate it previously, but I did not receive it.
Okay.
Did you receive it, Kate?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then it has to go up.
What else?
That's all.
The waste hauling permits, I don't think we need.
Website, we
I-
added,
We
right?
do. Will says
Because
that
they expired,
they expire in 3
3
days.
Oh, okay.
so we'll add that to the agenda.
Yeah.
It's not on consent.
No, but we also don't have it.
Actually, I'd like to.
Yeah, he added it.
Yeah.
Didn't you? You added website.
I have it as number 20.
Yeah.
No, I mean that you have, right, it's number 21, it can't be on the consent agenda.
Right. I'd like to ask that we add the the memo from Katie to the about waste hauling permits to the consent agenda, extending them until July 31st.
Which one is this?
Right, but we don't have a resolution.
That's what Will gave me. He said we should just make a resolution.
Pass a motion is fine.
So I think we shouldn't add it to
Yeah,
consent because
the
we
cons-
need to
Mm-hmm.
This,
actually do it.
Yeah. To
can't
do.
we do that as part of the agenda?
Well, I'm asking for it to go on the consent agenda.
I mean, Ariana's proposal?
No.
just-
This is separate.
This is our existing permit, our existing haulers. The permits expire.
I think we have to actually make a motion and maybe draft some language at the table is what I'm thinking.
If that's what Will gave us, I'm comfortable with that.
But what is the motion is simply to extend the existing contract.
Till July
Yeah.
31st.
Till
Why
July
can't we do
31st. Permits.
that?
I mean, I think that can go on the consent
I
agenda.
mean, he said resolution, so resolution to me
This
means
is-
a
yeah.
whereas and a therefore.
Right.
Be it resolved that,
Right.
not just a motion. That's why I feel
Why
like
don't
there
we
should be
put it
language.
on the consent agenda as a resolution to extend?
Yeah, I think this can be used as a resolution.
No, just put it,
This is a
the
resolution.
item, the agenda item is called a resolution of extension.
Okay,
Right.
and then Will can draft something that we will.
If we need it,
Okay,
yeah, if we need it, you can draft it.
got it.
And it should be.
All right, so that's on the
I just want to
consent
make sure
agenda.
we're covered because that was
understand.
something that he brought up from day
If
one
we're
with
unanimous,
the waste
we're
hauling
fine.
thing.
If
This
we're
covers
not
us instead
unanimous,
of
we'll have to do it as
Right,
a roll
right.
call.
But
Right.
I wanted to make sure we were covered.
That's all.
So we're good. Now, do we have anything else?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
one more thing. A request from Pace University Land Use Law Center to support a grant application of theirs. I forwarded you this email today.
And it's at the table.
Yeah.
It's on the table.
And what is it?
I'll explain when we get to it on the agenda.
I guess my only question with oh wait, we're not adding that to consent.
No, it's,
Okay.
because
No.
it'll be a very brief
Because I'm wondering
explanation.
if it conflicts with our applying for this grant.
No, it would.
Because
Well,
the
we can, no, it wouldn't,
we'll
but
talk
we can get
about
to it, yeah, we can get to it.
I have one last thing to
What's
ask,
that?
to respectfully ask. Mark Lauer drafted a letter to the Office of Community Renewal stating that if we exceed the grant, the $600,000 grant that we're asking for, that we agree to pay, that the village board is authorizing an additional $40,000. It's the same thing that we signed last year, and it's pretty much just a formality, but he wanted to make sure that we had it signed so it could be submitted with our application.
Okay.
Does that go on the agenda?
The consent agenda, I would hope. Is that,
And what are we
is there an objection?
authorizing?
Authorizing a modification to the proposal that the village will support any expenditures over the $600,000 that are awarded for the sewer repair. And this is, I'm taking it, Katie, identical to a proposal that was passed last year and maybe each year.
Yeah, it's a standard.
That we received this $600,000.
I suggest we do that as a separate item on the agenda in case the grantee requests proof that we did it.
Certainly.
That would be item 23.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? With that, I'll move to accept the agenda, or adopt the agenda.
We are taking 11 off, right?
Yes,
We're removing it from the consent agenda.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have to take it off, we don't have it at all.
It's not on the
Oh.
agenda,
It's not on the
Okay,
agenda.
yeah, removing
because we
it.
don't have it.
Right.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public comment? Anyone here? Kevin, Ira? All right, moving right along. Any announcements by the board? All right, I move we adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now,
The regular agenda is what we got then. not the
Yeah.
consent.
So we
No,
adopted,
oh,
we adopted
We
the
adopted the
agenda.
agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
so let's, should we have a discussion of fees first? Oh, no, not fees. Who else? Brenda's here for that, but also, yes.
Yeah.
Where's that memo from Brenda?
that's,
It was added
There
at
we
the
go.
table.
There we go.
I guess my question about this is how do we go about finding where the blockage is? You know, but I mean, it says blue is sympathetic, but it doesn't really say what
I would.
what was
say-
done to further investigate.
I don't know. I would say that however they figured out where the blockage was.
Can you introduce yourself since most of the
Yes.
village residents don't quite know who you are
I'm
yet?
Brenda White, the village planning director. I would say, however they figured out the original blockage would be a good way to start to find where this next one is. That's why I suggested perhaps the gentleman who fixed the problem to begin with, we could get him involved in the conversation.
Where is the catch basin?
Oh, was it Danny?
156 Main in the backyard,
But
right?
that's yours.
No,
You
that's-
both- that's the neighbor.
Neighbor.
No, that's where the problem is.
It's in the catch basin.
Well, it's somewhere in the backyard.
But that's where the flooding is.
It's the flooding, I mean, it's,
Oh
and
wow.
we lived in that house years and years ago.
Oh
So
really?
we have a lot of history with that
Has
house.
Blue been out there?
Blue has
Yes.
been out there in the
Yes.
past, he hasn't been out there within the last week or two.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna move to authorize the mayor to direct the DPW to investigate this problem on behalf of the village and to make a recommendation, if we can't solve the problem, to make a recommendation to the village board.
Second.
Okay. I have a quick question. Who, Dan, is it Danny
Dan
Moss?
Ingram.
Dan,
No, Dan Ingram.
Oh, okay.
Was, he
replace the collapsed culvert
Okay.
that was in the backyard that we all dig up. And so with the collapsed culvert replaced, it's got all integrity back there.
Okay.
And there's an overflow grate.
Mhm.
So whether it's raining or not, there's a stream that's bubbling up through the overflow grate.
Oh, wow.
So clearly, I mean, when we lived there 30 years ago, the backyard would get damp, but
It wasn't like that.
Not like
it's a
yeah.
swamp. I mean, you have a mosquito problem.
Well, it sounds to me like something is awry now, whether in the replacement of the pipes, a pipe was broken.
I don't think they couldn't get it. They replaced as far as the Adams property could go. And then my hero, there's macadam on top, so they couldn't go any further. And it worked for a couple of years. And the last
So the pipe was replaced
a
couple years ago. Oh, okay,
3 years
okay.
ago, 4 years ago. But it was okay for a year or two. And then it incrementally got worse and worse and worse.
Oh, wow.
And they had Roto-Rooter with a telescope or some sort of camera thing. And they got as far as they could go, but then they said, no, it's blocked.
I just
Further
don't
down
think
the road.
we have any idea, and we know from other things that have come before us, this is an old community, and pipes
Exactly.
cross people's property, and
Exactly.
I just think a thorough investigation
No.
by our DPW
And
needs
no
to be
one
done.
could map out the culverts.
That doesn't
They
surprise
We
me.
couldn't maybe because there was so, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brent, it sounds.
I'm sorry,
People
sir.
next door at the service station, they don't have that problem.
Yeah, it's resolved. It's resolved
Yeah.
to the, closer to, what is that? Oakwood? No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oakwood.
it's resolved closer to Oakwood now. Zach's property
That's the
was
service.
really flooded, and so once they replaced the culvert, now Barbara and Nick have all the water.
It's kind of
But
moved
if the
down.
board recalls, this is in the same block where we had another issue of
Yep.
excessive water.
Yeah.
Oh, because we watched.
No, no.
I was thinking
excessive
exactly.
water usage. And so
It was
this
a
may
broken-
all be,
Connected.
Yeah, could be. I've never seen, it's
I don't
been,
know.
like I said, years, it was damp in the early
Okay.
spring or,
my recommendation is reasonable.
There's one small problem. You said the problem is in the backyard?
oh, yeah, on private property, yeah.
That's extended all
That's,
the way to,
that-
almost to Center Street.
mhm.
There's a bog now. It's a bog, it's a
Salud.
3-foot wide bog.
We can't do work on private property?
Right, exactly, that's the problem.
So, yeah, I just want to make
No,
sure people are aware of that.
They're clear on that,
Yeah,
they're
okay.
clear on that. They know that there's a right of access issue.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of snowballing.
Exactly.
If we do it for one person, we'll be fixing everything in everyone's
Exactly.
So
backyard.
in
all over
terms,
the-
but in terms of investigation and mapping the
Investigation is what
pipes.
my motion is.
Yeah. Well,
Not
that, and that's what I seconded. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
that's.
so
I
that's.
just, I just didn't want people to
find
have
out where the
expectations.
problem is.
And I think that will
You
help.
know, because
bring
it's just
about a
gotten worse
solution.
over the last couple of years again. Really, there's clear water, this is
Right.
spring.
Yeah,
Really,
but we just daylighted one stream. Maybe we should just dig the
Well-
stream up and
well.
leave it exposed.
And
fountain?
Yeah.
and once you find out perhaps where the blockage is, which is probably under My Heroes, McAdam, or Paul's Commons. I'm sure it's, I'm
It
sure
could be,
it's,
my motion
I-
is because we have the maps, the pipes,
but I don't
the
think
whole
it's
layout, it would be best for us to investigate it. But we understand,
So-
will
I
not
understand,
repair.
yes,
I'm
yes.
not positive that we have thorough maps of
We do not.
what we're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
So I think
Our engineer has very good maps that we
But no
did
stormwater
not
maps.
use when we should have in another problem. So I think Rich Root could very easily.
Well, is there more debate on Sally's motion specifically?
I don't think so.
No.
Brent, did I email you the email address for Mick today?
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
I believe it.
If not,
Okay, good.
make sure
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
So we'll see what we can find out.
Yeah.
And we may all
Hopefully
have a
we'll find
swimming
out.
party together.
All right.
Yeah, I forwarded everything to Brent today, which initiated her investigation.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Brenda, you want to come up and join us?
Yes.
So this is not the last conversation we're going to have about fees. But the board had asked, and I think, was Rich going to come?
He was trying, but had a son's baseball.
Okay. But Brenda and I met the day before yesterday to hopefully come up with a final draft of the fees, a draft of a fee schedule, which I emailed to all of you yesterday. I got an email from Rich today saying it looked like some stuff was missing, but didn't we have that sheet with us?
We did, and it looked like,
There may be a couple more things we want to add yet from the building department. But ironically, like I said in the email, we should talk about the fee schedule first so we know that that's ready to go before we introduce and possibly pass this local law. So did anyone have a chance to look at it? I mean, I know it could just be a very fast conversation.
I read it carefully.
Okay.
And thank you for cleaning it up and including the things that I'd asked about,
Good,
such
good.
as copying fees for foil, parking long-term.
Yeah, there's a couple blanks we need to
Yeah,
put in
well,
there, so.
Katie can fit those right in.
Okay.
She knows those numbers.
Oh, okay.
But the three that I wanted to ask about is we don't have park use fee in,
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
We do need that, don't we?
and we need to have that, Katie. You got
No,
that?
right now.
Okay, and that probably is the $25 deposit required for the clerk if it's a non-resident of Counter Village, and then the deposit required depending upon the number of participants for cleanup. And that's right in, Katie's got that.
Okay.
But now, Katie, my question was, I see your peddler and solicitors in, but should we show a special category for vendor fee? So when a vendor comes and wants to be in the park,
At this moment, we only have the two available to us, that the year-long
the peddler and the
peddling,
solicitor, right?
peddling and vending, which is the $100 or the $10.
Okay, could we put in parentheses underneath peddler and solicitor, this includes vendors?
Yes, sure.
Okay, because I think that would be clearer.
Well,
I mean-
I think it really only applies to vendors. Like if I'm a not-for-profit, or if I'm an organization that is not selling anything and I'm just promoting, I don't have to fill anything out or pay $10 or anything like that at an
You have
event.
a vendor fee to be in the park as a vendor.
It's for vending though, not for just
Should we
raising
call it
awareness.
Vendor,
Well, I think
it's vendor fee?
I think we have to call it what the law states, what the code states. But, so I don't think,
But if I were looking at the law, if I went in onto E-code and to see what you would charge me, it isn't clear.
well, I think that's because we never cleaned up, we never officially cleaned up our peddling and soliciting law.
I actually just made a note to talk to Will about cleaning up the peddling, to
See
take
if
off,
we can
take
call
off
it-
where it
call
was
it
left off,
something.
so we
Yeah.
can
And
bring it to the
then,
table hopefully
where
next.
do I find the waste hauler permit fees?
The waste hauler is currently set at $200.
It should be, what section of the law? It should be under that section of the law.
So what,
License, it should say
is
licensing
that
fee or
garbage
something.
Oh,
removal?
It's solid waste collection of, chapter 171. It's on here, but what you were talking about is not.
Right. It
So we're
doesn't say.
missing that one? Okay.
So it just, if we can use more
But we're going to be,
terminology.
we're going to be removing that from
Well,
the
but
law
we still need it
anyway,
in.
but we, for now, need it in.
But Jason would like to have this now.
Yeah, we want it for the, I'd like it for the reorg if we can
Yeah, so
get it
we're
done.
only gonna do the fee part of this now, or are we going to talk a little bit about the law that goes in front?
The law, Will is gonna redo the law that I wrote, because we needed to make some other
Did
changes.
you remember to add my request?
Which
That
was?
should the board fail at its reorg meeting, to adopt this, did the prior year's adopted fees remain in force?
No, I didn't, but I'll add that.
I'll make a note.
Yeah,
You got- okay, good,
you
you-
brought that up before.
That's why I asked it.
I'll make a note now and I'll email it to you.
There were some exceptions we needed to make, like water, I found out water and sewer have to be in the code.
Right,
There's
it should
little
be
things like that.
because we said that.
Right, by law, yeah, we have to set that by law.
Yeah, you took that out.
Yeah. But we have to take it out of the law, so,
And Katie,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
you, other copying fees, I would have a category called other copying fees. Because someone might come in and say, may I have a copy of X, and it's not a FOIL request.
Correct.
Also, on the FOIL request, it says quarter per page, and it should say a quarter by, or 8.5 by 11 pages.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
That's a good catch. Because our legal side, you
Yeah.
get a lot
Or
more.
this size, yeah.
So I have one thing that the local law we're about to act on tonight might contradict where it talks about photovoltaic in here. Because the law we're looking at talks about all fees for solar installation being waived. And I know this is for an inspection fee, but I wasn't sure if this is for inspection of solar panels that are already installed or during the process of installation, and whether or not we want to waive it.
Ariana, what page?
It's 14.2 under inspection fees. It's 8612 A3E.
I don't know, without being able to read the law.
I mean, I
I
think
have the law, I think tacked on as endnotes to everything, but,
you do, but it didn't make it clearer to me.
oh, okay.
So that's why I'm wondering if we just want to waive that because we want to promote people having solar panels and not. That's the whole part of the incentivizing
That we're
law
gonna be
that we're
talking
looking
about,
at number 18 on the agenda.
Let's just make a note to come back to that, I guess,
Okay.
after our conversation with you later.
Right. Well, I figure we're not acting on this tonight.
Yeah, no,
so.
no.
Well, we could act on it because there's only one clarification, or two now.
3.
The solar, whether we can show a vendor.
Solar park use, vending,
Waste haulers.
waste hauler permit fee. I feel like there might be other things
And there's a
that
couple
we're
things
missing
from Rich,
also,
yeah.
so I don't think it'd be wise of us
Let
to
me
act
put,
on it.
let me put a third draft together that should have all of this stuff.
I would like.
Because
You know,
we need
I could
time to,
probably even give this, because like I'm looking at this again and
I
it
see
costs
that
some of
we
these
don't have
things.
a permit fee for blasting and exploding.
I wonder if we have it, it's entirely possible that I missed something in the code. I just searched for every dollar sign.
Okay. I would like to suggest that we have this on the agenda for adoption at the next meeting, but in the interim, fill in the blank X's
Yeah.
and circulate it once again to department heads to make sure that everything in their department that fees are charged for is covered. Because it's very hard to sit, either for the mayor or for any of us, to make judgments when Bren knows what her department needs and other Blue knows his, and
Right.
it's very easy to just go across. So I think this is great, so thank you, Jason.
And there's one other thing that is just grammatical. Under chapter 86, 1 and 2 family house, the very first one, it says per 100 square feet of fraction thereof, and I was thinking that
Or.
it meant to say or.
Yeah.
So I just figure if
What
we're putting
section?
something into law, we should have it be grammatical.
It's,
Which number?
8612 A1 A1. This is so ridiculous.
Okay.
It's the first listed under chapter 86 building permit
Right.
inspection.
it's
All
right
right, so
in the
we'll
law.
put
I figure it
Yeah.
probably is. It just
so we'll put that on the next agenda, Katie?
Mhm.
Yes. I mean,
And then,
And can we discuss it also, because a lot of this is building, can this be also a topic for our special meeting with the building department and Brent, which we've agreed to do, we just
Which
haven't
is
set a date?
happening right now.
Hmm?
It's supposed to be happening right now, at least according, for fees and fines?
No, it was in the, on the
Was it a
consent
separate one?
It's in
agenda.
the consent agenda for a special meeting.
Oh, a separate one, okay.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay.
Can we
I mean,
also,
just so we can all review together again,
Yeah.
because some of the questions, one of the major questions is, and we're still trying to track it down, is when we passed the law that said any building new has to go to the planning board, there is still grave confusion on
Right.
that. We need to have that discussion. I think that will affect some of these fees if we do it that way, perhaps.
Hopefully not.
Also, the,
But it's good to have this.
Yeah, okay.
if we could also pull up
Should we
the,
set the meeting now? The date for the meeting?
Let's have Katie
Okay.
deal with that away from the table.
Because I'd love to have people who are not here to be part of this meeting. Well, I'd like Brett to be a part of it, of course. But, yeah, I think it'd be, exactly.
And I prefer that it be set to what is best for them.
Right, I
and
don't
I'll
think it
fit
should
in.
necessarily be during a regular
Yeah.
board meeting hours. It should be,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
during regular
also,
hours.
So, we
local
find
law
some dates.
7/2010 is the law that addresses photovoltaic and solar panels. If we could just pull that up, because then that should explain what, okay, good.
Good.
All right. Do we need Brenda for anything else? That might have been it.
But thank you for
Does
this
it
work.
give a
Jason.
number?
Huh?
Thank you for the work.
Oh, yeah, it was mind numbing.
I mean, this, looking at it and then just
Added
seeing what we had in the
8/25/2010,
revisions you did, that's
number
I guess
It was a
Seven
tremendous
dash
number, yeah.
2010.
Good thing it was a long winter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Brenda.
Thanks.
That was short for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for taking
being
care of
here.
that so
Are we
quickly.
walking tomorrow if it doesn't rain?
Yes.
Tomorrow it's supposed to be 72 degrees and no rain.
Dream on, it was supposed to be 64 today and it never got to 60. Where are we
Thank you
going?
for taking care of that other,
South Chestnut.
Yes.
Oh, South Chestnut.
Yes.
I don't know.
may I ask that the board congratulate Miss White on her most recent birthday?
Huh.
Happy birthday.
It's your birthday?
No, my birthday was this past weekend.
I think we ought to sing.
Oh,
Are you ready? Come on. Happy birthday.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brendan. Happy birthday to you.
There you go, Brennan. Keep it up.
I think this year.
Don't fail.
I hope it was a happy one.
It was.
All
It's been
it says is
incident. It was
inspection
fabulous.
fees.
Very good.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.
So we can remove number 14, because there's no, we're gonna wait for the new version of that local law.
Basically.
And might we do that with
there's
number
probably
13
something
as
in
well?
reading notes, but.
I just wanted to check in and see where we're at with
Yeah,
this.
we could have a
because-
What are we
discussion without
checking
doing
at?
anything, right?
We-
Yeah,
And then finally put that to
I
bed.
wanna, it may be a brief conversation, so let's leave that one
Which
on.
item number?
13, but number 14, we just finished.
Yes.
Yeah, we've already done it.
Yeah, so, all right, number 12, Ariana, this is your baby?
Yes, it sure is. So, this is our second draft. As you probably all saw, some of you responded. I had sent Will our list of items that we want to change, like he had only talked about residential, now he's included commercial, and you can see there was also a red line version that he included. There were a couple things that I felt were missed. Like in the first paragraph, it says a 3-year period, although within it, it says that we want the 2 bids, the one for 1 year and the one for 3 year. So I feel like, maybe we should, I mean, this is just saying it is the village's intent to contract for 3-year period. So I don't know if all of you wanted that to specifically say 1 year and 3 year, or to just have the 1 year and 3 year within the document, as looking for things that we want them to give us the 2 quotes on.
Do we have to have a hearing on this? Or can we do the RFP first?
I don't know if we have to have a hearing on it.
Hmm?
I don't know if we have to have a hearing on
I
it.
don't think we do. I'm going to move that, thank you for all your hard work. All the corrections I knew of were made, and I'm gonna move to.
There were other things that I caught this time that I feel like should be corrected, so I don't know if you want me to just deal with that with Will, or if you want me to go through it with all of you.
It's up to you. I think we're ready for a request for proposals, though.
If there's stuff that still needs to go to Will, I think that we should, might as well be safer than sorry.
I mean, it was, I can go through quickly.
Okay.
One of the things was payments collected on the monthly basis. I know at present I pay quarterly.
Yes.
So I don't know if we should be dictating that it be monthly, or if we should allow the company to operate as it normally does in terms of how they regularly
We pay
bill.
quarterly too.
I mean, and I like paying quarterly, so I don't know if that would be something that we want to remove from here. Standard sizes vary, so I was thinking that we should change the 30-gallon and 60-gallon language to 30-gallon range, 60-gallon range, and then there's also a 90-gallon range. Some of the sizes are 32-gallon, 35-gallon, 64-gallon, 65-gallon. So it's things like that I don't think we should be forcing them to go so specific.
But you can ask them to provide the containers.
Oh, absolutely.
And then that takes care of that issue.
Right, exactly.
But then it can't be in the RFP.
That
so
it says,
particularly.
specifically 30-gallon or 60-gallon wheels
You could reword it to say,
I think we should say range, because there's the standard ranges that are within 30 gallons, 60 gallons, and 90 gallons. So I think we should just go with
but
that.
if we're hoping that they use the automatic trucks that separate disposable garbage from recyclables, they have to be a certain size so the armatures can go in.
Right, but that's for them to.
That's for them.
Right, that's why I'm saying that we
Yes,
should not
right, I agree.
specify, something quite that specific. And I thought there was conflicting language. One says curbside collection of co-mingled single-stream materials, where later in the RFP it talks about dual stream. Katie just showed me a text message with Will that we do not need a public hearing to put out the RFP. So I think that we should just kind of have the language, be consistent. And I like the idea of dual stream, although I'm not committed to it. I don't know if it even exists anymore, but whenever I see single stream, I'm like, oh, those guys are recycling. So I like dual stream recycling.
They do live streaming up in Kingston in the recycling, whatever.
Right, but I think, one of the things later on saying that we can ask for any investigative materials that we want once we get the bids in, and I think that should be something we could either put it in the RFP, but I think it'd be fine if we ask for it once people have bid to give us the step-by-step of where they bring their garbage and things like that. I don't know, I'd like a score, but if you want to do that, okay, cool. And one of the other things,
Changes if they're acceptable to the board.
well, that's why I don't know if
I've read, I feel comfortable.
okay, one of the other things, it says collection only single and multifamily. I don't know about apartment complexes. I want that to be included, but it's not specified. So I don't know if you just feel like these are changes that I can go through with Will and we can make them, but I don't.
But what are you more comfortable doing?
I'd probably be more comfortable with going back and having these
And then
specifics.
they are doing-
I would have spoken to him about this had we not gotten this on Friday. To be put in the agenda after, for
And
tonight.
also, being that we just gave the extension to the voters, in
It's
order
still
to
gonna be
finish
very
this.
close, even with the extension.
It will still be closed.
It's gonna be very close to get the request for bids in, have the mandatory review session, make a decision.
We may have
You're
to just
gonna
extend
be-
the other
But
one.
I think it's okay if we have to extend,
If we extend it one more month.
one more month, if we, I'm okay with doing that and getting it right. I think that that's really important, and had I had time to go through this again after we had some of the changes made, I would have just spoken to Will
Well, the
about
real
that.
question is, should we make the extension that we acted on,
Should we amend it right now to
should we
August
amend it right
31st?
now and give it an extra month?
I think we should.
Sure.
I think it's silly for us to not, because I think we're gonna have a third draft of this, and then if we're getting bids in within the month of June, we're getting,
Meaning what item?
or maybe
Agenda
the month
item
of
is that?
July to have
It's on the
it.
consent agenda. It's on the consent agenda.
Was consent agenda item number?
I hadn't decided a number yet because I have to.
I will move to amend the consent agenda item extending waste haulers permits from July 31st to August. There are 31 days in August.
I didn't know.
Okay. 31. Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That gives you the time to do it.
And
Okay,
one
so,
other small
yeah,
change.
sure.
On the first page, first paragraph under 3, the village expects a successful bidder to collect yada 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 on a weekly basis. Should probably be on at least a weekly basis, since commercial businesses often have twice a week or multiple times a week pickup,
Yeah,
and we don't want them to feel screwed.
no, totally.
Well, do commercials have twice a week?
Yeah.
It depends on the
definitely.
business.
Okay.
Well,
I bet one of the larger restaurants probably do,
Yeah.
so you don't have the food rotting.
So that's good.
So, and we'll wait, so we'll hopefully have that for the next agenda.
Yeah. So if any of you at any point see anything else, send it my way. Yes.
Is there provision for people who haul their own trash?
Commercial. That would not be in the RFP. That is for us to deal with in terms of our law.
So I understand it wouldn't be in the RFP, but it would be in the law that there would be permitted individual disposal.
It says so in here.
I did.
I did. I'm sure I wasn't reading a separate memo. That
Could have been minutes because I remember.
that individuals who use the landfill now are still able.
Okay.
Yes, that is
That's
100% a part
Yes,
of
Okay.
this.
she had that in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ariana. This is a lot of work, too.
I'm excited about it, especially in light of our
Sometimes-
most recent complaints about
The
our current
spate,
installer.
the spate of complaints.
Yeah.
When you're done, I'll steal back the material that I gave you from Pennsylvania, if you guys still have it.
Oh, I gave it to,
Okay.
because they emailed it to us, so
Originals all done.
Alberta had sent it out.
Yeah, but we just need them.
That's fine.
I started them.
So number
We will have a third draft on this in our first meeting in June, and hopefully that will be our final draft.
And be with that.
And it will be black, exactly.
Okay.
All right, so number 13, I think we've kind of talked this to death for the most part. Mostly what I'd like to do is, I'd like to ask the board's permission to instruct our attorney to develop any secret documentation that this would need. And that way, the next conversation we have, we can finish the few odds and ends in the law, and then also discuss the secret, were this to move forward to a public hearing. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I would also like to have this on the agenda for our meeting with the building department
I like
Okay,
that.
yeah.
before we
And they've all
finalize.
seen this, by the way, so yeah.
And a question came up as to whether legally we could do owner occupied and non-owner occupied. Will has checked this law for us, so I would think if we had a problem there,
It
we would
would've-
have caught it, wouldn't
Yeah,
we?
exactly.
So okay, we're clear on that, we don't need to ask that again.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. So I guess I move to authorize the village attorney to prepare any secret documentation, possible secret documentations
Second.
for this law.
Well, I just have one thing, because we've discussed this over and over again, and under 129.12, enforcement of penalties for offenses. Each day that a violation shall continue shall constitute a separate violation. And
That's right, that's in the code now, so that would be a change from existing practice, if that makes a difference.
well, right, but that's, I'm not talking.
I'm going to move, because this is a stickler with me, I would like to move to amend A.
I would like that amended as well, because I think that it's unenforceable, for one.
I can't support this.
Why don't we
if
talk to the
don't.
building department about it?
All right, that's why I
That's-
asked.
okay.
That may be
So
a
then
tool that
maybe
they
we
could
should
use.
hold off on preparing the secret documentation until we have the final version.
Okay, but no, I'll move.
Because the secret's generic enough.
The secret doesn't have anything to do with our discussion with the building department. I can't think anything would be that impacted. I'm not even sure we need a secret.
No, but this is so likely, there's some, well, I'd like, even if it's just a neg deck,
I
at least have
will
that.
move to ascertain from the village attorney whether a secret document is required
Well,
for
we have-
passage.
we have a motion on the table now.
And then if so, then he prepare the documents.
We have a motion on the floor now for him to prepare any needed secret documents.
Any needed secret.
Any needed secret
Because
documents.
if it's not needed, then he won't.
Then he won't
Right.
prepare.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. I'll say.
So,
Well, it's already been seconded.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I would like this to be changed to, instead of each day, basically it's each visit. Like if I'm the building inspector and I say, okay, you must remedy this by this day, and I'm going to come back on this day, and I come back and it's, 10 days later, and it has not been remedied,
Then you fine.
then it is a
Can we
separate
ask- can
violation.
we
As
ask the-
opposed to, okay, it's been 10 days, and each of those 10 days, because it hasn't been remedied for each of those 10 days, is a separate violation. It just seems, am I coming back tomorrow? Am I coming back every one of those 10 days?
Right.
That just doesn't seem realistic.
And I also hope that we are in agreement that the checklist, both interior and exterior, will be prioritized.
yeah, no, and I'm
Because
working,
I'm
I'm
not-
working on
I think we have already agreed
Yes,
on
we
that.
did.
We did. And I've been working with Rich on
I
that.
understand what you're asking,
Yeah.
Sally, but I do think we've already
I
agreed on
want it-
that, so.
I want to prioritize, I
It's,
agree.
I'm already working with, I got Rich's help doing that, because he's the one who would know how much this
All
one.
of this stuff we can discuss on whenever we're meeting
Yeah.
with the building department.
Yes.
And let's put this to bed then.
Okay, so the motion on
I
the,
think Tom had something.
I'm just trying to get clear about what
well,
you're,
we're gonna discuss this with the building
Yeah,
department.
I don't think we
Okay.
should discuss it now because I think some of this is answerable.
well, let me just say one simple thing, to Ariana's point. It would not be every visit, but it would be every scheduled visit. It would be, otherwise somebody could be sneaking in there at night and no one would know what was going on.
Right.
So we're talking about every scheduled visit by the building department or the responsible agency where the violation is not remedied would constitute an additional violation.
Right, but I don't disagree, but I think on the checklist that the building department uses, that a copy is given to the landlord at the time of the inspection, so each party has a copy. And somehow, the landlords need to be encouraged to photograph the interior of their buildings, because one of the major concerns is that the interior, when inspected, was right before, because Jason and I talked about this, giving somebody a checklist in advance is fair warning. You know what you're gonna be doing. So if you, as the landlord, have done all those things, and then the building inspector comes and say, the carbon monoxide has been removed,
Right.
I think they should be encouraged to take photographs of the interior of the building after they get the inspection, whether they feel it's in order, so that they can prove that at the time that we were getting ready for inspection, the monitor or whatever is there. I would think that would be a good safeguard.
People can Photoshop pictures. You almost need to do a live documentation, you need to send that, it's very easy to.
But you understand what I'm suggesting.
I agree, but I think you have to be careful.
No, it's not in writing, it's just a suggestion
I got it.
that can be made.
Things to be sorted out.
You're right.
Well, there's gotta be some way to resolve this problem.
I agree, I think.
That was the original draft.
I don't know.
Because one of the big concerns is,
Um,
that the landlords have is that they have things all fixed, and then in the process,
I get, no,
things, and so
Yeah.
there's gotta be some way of their being able to protect their
Sure.
inspection.
Okay.
Somebody may have a brilliant idea in the interim. This is not worth trying to figure out tonight. Call me.
All right, so
Call clerk and tell her.
there's a motion on there's a motion on the table, on the floor. All in favor?
For the seeker?
Or any other discussion on it? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so hopefully we'll have one last conversation about this at our next meeting. And then move forward. Down to number 15. Rebecca, was this you? Or this was just generic?
This is 3 additional desktops, and I asked because I would appreciate in the future, Katie, the memos specifically state for whom or what you're making the request. So it appears that the trustees need a new computer, the new IT person. Hopefully, we will have someone in the very near future. And Brogan, who is our secretary for planning and zoning, are the 3 computers that you need. Those 3 need computers, but we're gonna do our little system that we did before. Nancy and you are getting the new ones, and then yours are going to these other.
I personally wasn't part of how the computers were, what computer was going to what person. I was just informed we need 3 because we have these people that need computers. I don't know how I don't know how the computers themselves will be assigned to person.
And you need to correct, we're not purchasing, we're leasing.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
in the middle it says to
So-
investigate purchasing on the memo itself.
I will move that we purchase these 3 additional desktops.
Lease.
Lease, sorry. lease.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sally, you want to take 16? And I can jump in when I know.
Poison ivy.
It seems to me that we have one of 2 choices here. We can either dispense with the law on poison ivy, or I believe that part of the job description of the DPW is park maintenance, and I believe the removal of poison ivy is part of their job. I am not interested in paying $19,000 for an outside poison ivy remover.
Well, I'm getting a second quote, because we need more than one anyway.
Right.
I'm getting a second price from the company who does the same thing. I'm meeting with the guy. He's been up here once. I'm meeting with him Friday morning. And his was significantly less expensive.
But my point.
But the corner we're backed into is, you can't get rid of it under village policy with malathion, which is what the only thing that really works. And we couldn't, even if we didn't have the village policy, we couldn't do that at Sojourner Truth Park, where a big chunk of the poison ivy is anyway. So the only way you can do it is to pull it out by its roots, and you need to find somebody who's not allergic. I actually kind of like the idea of putting out a call for people who are not allergic, and see if they want to just pull up the poison ivy and the rail trail in the parks.
Right, but even if you are allergic, people do it all the time, and they
I
just.
pulled out a half a bag.
These 2 right here have done it.
You want to volunteer?
I do not want to volunteer because I have had it 4 times since I moved to this village.
And I don't get it.
And by the way, we tried to contract with somebody to come and remove it just from our half acre, and it would have cost us $2,000 for a half acre to have somebody come and do it, which is the reason why I got poison ivy 4 times, because I was unwilling to do that.
That is.
But you can use a non-chemical product called Burnout, and there must be other items like this that are organic products made out of vinegar, lemon, and other things.
We did tests, actually. Craig Everett from the DPW helped me out by doing tests on poison ivy at his house. And he tried bleach, he tried salt water, he tried vinegar, he tried basically everything he could Google.
Well,
and none of it seemed to work. If there's another product that we could get and just have our guys use it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Just shoot me an email, let me know, I mean, I'll remember
No,
burnout, but.
The original point that I'm trying to make, Jason, is that this is a duty and responsibility of the employees who are hired by the Village of New Paltz. This is their job, and I think they ought to do it. I'm perfectly happy to buy proper overalls and gloves and face masks, but I do not wish to hire an outsider to do a job that I believe the taxpayers already are paying for. And if we don't agree on that, then I think we ought to get rid of the law saying you can't have poison ivy.
Well, I'm personally interested in seeing what the final prices are before making any decisions. Because it may not be an either-or situation. It may not be an either-or situation. It could be we hire someone this year because it's been left so long, and then in subsequent years, the DPW is supposed to pull it out.
But $19,000 for one park area
That's
is
and that's just
ridiculous number.
that's just the boat launch to the stream and Sojourner to the park.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like Hasbro Park.
That's obviously not something we can afford. I want to see what this other guy comes at.
Along the rail trail, generally.
That's, you know, the kind that are on the trees are the easiest to do because you just take your loppers and you cut the vine and you cut it an inch above and it's dead.
And then you stick burnout on, right?
Right, and on the wood. I mean,
And I just looked up burnout. It's made of a special blend of citric acid and clove oil and other patented synergistic components.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Oh, I think I might have looked that up.
So it's environmentally safe.
It is.
Except you can't use it by the river.
The other ingredients are
Not
mineral
toxic.
oil, water, gum,
I
aromatic.
just call it.
Well, I'm meeting this guy on Friday anyway, so we'll have another price. If we can't afford it, we can't afford it, and we'll move on from there. But I felt that there was
No, that sounds.
need to do something because it's overtaking our parks.
Jason, I know we need to do something and I know you have tried, but what my point is.
I even tried to find goats. I almost found 2 herds of goats, but
I know you could.
the liability and then
I want that.
the livestock wandering around. Yeah.
We've talked about it for a while.
No, I called the Bruderhof and I called 4-H.
Call Wiltwick.
Yeah? All right.
See if they have a guy who knows a guy. It's across the river.
I have a
Yeah.
friend who uses tethered goats. They don't even have to cage
Exactly.
them. They
Yeah.
tether them at the
Yeah.
spot they want it removed.
Yeah.
2 days and it's gone.
And you
They
pick
move
it
them
up,
to the
you
next
go
spot.
And then you bring them back next year until it finally kills the mother.
Well, no, generally you can just, once they chew it down, the burnout works.
Yeah, we can't use burnout or things like that down at the park because
That's
of the
not
river.
toxic.
Well,
There's-
yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know what the definition is of what you can use near the strip, like Walkill.
And vinegar in the Walkill River
But this
might
is
help.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
Did I
I
say
mean,
that?
this is you know, clove oil, citric
I'll look it
acid.
up.
Might actually help.
I'll look it up. I was given the impression that the
I just feel we
DEC.
have better use of our money, and I believe that it honestly is a part, if you are a grounds person and you work for the DPW, I think this is part of your job description. I'm happy to buy the overalls and the gloves and the masks if they
Right.
feel they need them, but I think they should do the job.
I
Well-
know someone, I know someone who has lots of goats, and I can talk to him and.
That would be great. See if they'd like to eat poison ivy.
Yes, yes.
That would be
He
really
has
cool.
lots of goats. He has a goat farm.
Oh,
Wow.
that would be fantastic.
That would be.
17.
Okay,
All right.
sandwich boards. This is fun, isn't it? Better than television.
You're a number.
013. I'm so sorry I didn't.
What do you want to talk about, Sally? About center sports? Are you
Just a minute,
opposed or?
I want to give his number so that when
Oh,
we
thank
find
you.
out about the goats, they can call.
I really
Or
hope the
you want them to
goats-
call you.
No, they can call Katie. That's probably
It's
for the better.
Here, I can give you my card.
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Am I next again?
Yeah, sandwich
Okay,
board.
Yeah, the same.
Katie, did you ever get in writing from the state?
No, we haven't gotten it yet.
Hmm?
No, we haven't gotten it yet, but I have made another call.
You have made another call. Okay, here's the problem. A couple months ago, we talked about the village buying poles and the businesses on our side streets being allowed to buy, and we would put up directional poles. This was qualified by Jason contacting, which he did, the Department of Transportation, asking them for permission, because it's Main Street and Chestnut Street, both highways, so we have to have their permission to put the pole up. They have denied us that permission verbally, but I have asked Katie to get that denial. 'Cause
In writing?
we have to formally request in writing. I want a formal answer in writing back. So that, right now, we are in denial. So it seems to me we have one of two choices. We can bring the building inspector in on secret Saturdays of his choice to take a walk down Main Street and where we have received complaints on the sandwich boards and just tell people, sorry, you can't have them. Okay? Or we can just get rid of the sandwich boards and go.
I favored that one.
Then I would ask that you check with Will Frank to see what the consequence. My concern is this: we right now have in the law that you can't have sandwich boards. If somebody trips, as they did this past winter, we could have been sued because it's our law and we're not enforcing it.
Right.
So, if we're not going to enforce it and we can't have the directional signs,
Then we
I
should
would
get rid of the
recommend
law.
that we get rid of the law.
I'm in favor of that.
All right, but would you, Jason, would you check with Will to see if there are any ramifications? And then,
Well, this is your baby. Why don't you just send him an email asking to write the law?
no, we're deleting it, we're taking it out.
Yeah, we don't have to write anything, we just have to remove 5 from G.
He still has to write a local, we have to have a public hearing to remove something from the code.
We just have to have an amendment, yeah.
We have to have a public
But-
hearing to delete.
From
Right.
that, though, we should also have design standards as to what will be allowed in terms of sandwich boards, which is
Well,
something Brand could do
Sandwich
for
boards
us.
are not allowed except on a very like you can have your yard sale.
Yeah, except those
Right.
containing a non-commercial
That would not
message,
need design
Right.
standards.
provided the building
Banners
legislation
are
limits each.
prohibited. No, so.
But
that's-
banners are the same thing though,
Yeah.
except those containing a non-commercial message.
Right.
The period of display shall not exceed 2
So
weeks.
maybe.
So like the
we
banners on P&Gs that are advertising
All right.
events are
With the
fine.
board's interest and participation, I will investigate this whole area and make recommendations to delete or add where appropriate.
That sounds good.
Yes.
That sounds good.
I have one other thing, because in reading this law, number 6, signs which have visible moving parts, including signs which achieve movement by design or by action of wind currents.
Okay,
Why? That could be so cool.
guess what?
What?
It's coffee time again for you and me to do this.
All right.
Okay.
I'm in.
So Sally, why don't you speak with Bren on this too? Because I think
Oh,
it
yeah,
might be
I'll
an area
go,
that
definitely.
she's, yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I have had this discussion with the building department.
Okay, good.
So,
All right, so number 18, Ariana?
Well, we talked about this last time. In order to, we should have had Brent. We should have done this when Brenda was here. And actually, the agenda says resolution, but this is an amendment, and we also need a resolution, but that we can have on the night that we adopt this. This is part of a solar energy permit process. If we want to apply for the grant that Pat Courtney Strong sent to us, we have to do this as well as a resolution. So that's why it's on our agenda tonight. We had talked about this last meeting. Oh, but you weren't here.
I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. You were
I'm
on the
catching
email
up.
though that Pat
Yeah.
Courtney sent to both of us.
Yes,
And I think I CC'd her in my response asking her, do we need to both have a law and a resolution in order to just apply? She said yes. And Sally came up with the brilliant idea of using this potentially using this money and you putting in the grant that we would use it for solar lighting, and that the additional lighting that we want to put in on Plattekill Avenue, that it would be like a, you know, something that
Experimental
would,
station.
right, but it would be something that would probably give us more points on the grant if it's something that we're also using for safety.
And who's writing the grant?
Brenda and Brogan.
Okay.
Because when I met with them on a separate matter, we talked about this, and Brenda had already been looking at the Cleaner Greener Communities grant. So, and I told her the idea that Sally had about safety and all of that. So they're going to work on it. And Pat Courtney had also included a document that was like kind of a very step-by-step guideline of the grant questions and applications. So it should be pretty simple for them.
Great. And has Will seen this?
Will wrote this.
Oh, this came from Will, okay.
Yes.
I move to set the hearing for the next board meeting.
Second,
June 11th.
June 11th, 7:30.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
And Rebecca? was this
Okay,
you?
Now,
yes.
What do we have next?
The upgrading the website and live wiring the large conference room. We have had essentially funds in our budget for technology upgrades, for an IT person, et cetera, et cetera. And this is something I've been working on for some time. It took us a while to get the county list with people who have passed the civil service test for IT positions within the county. The list was sent to us of the people who were available. We interviewed all that we were able to contact. There's one name that's going back to the county who we could not get in touch with. We did not interview anyone who was ready to come on board and immediately start the work that we need done, essentially updating the website. Out of the proposals that came in, one of the person would be working with a server and a source that FEMA uses. So in terms of security, we feel pretty strongly about what he is proposing to do for us. One person was in with Nancy today. Katie and I met with Brendan Merritt, went through everything. He was very thorough, and he came with a multi-page questionnaire and got all the information he needs. Forward us the proposal. Between Nancy and Katie and I, in all the meetings that we've been having and the interviews, we felt that he was best qualified and ready to start work immediately. So we're recommending that we contract with Mr. Merritt.
That's a request for proposal, so I will move that the proposal be awarded to Brendan Merritt for website development only. He is not doing the IT. This is just for
Yes,
website.
yes, just for the website.
For a sum of $4,800.
Very low.
So I have not had
Is there
time.
a second for that?
Awesome.
Second, I have not had time to go through all of these things, but from what I did read, his proposal is just full of errors, grammatical errors. And yeah, and maybe you know, it was written quickly, but but I mean, there are things that like the new will feature all the elements, like, you know, the new what? The new website? Like, I mean, I just really, I don't feel comfortable having somebody update our website if this is.
He met Katie on Sunday. He was reviewed by Nancy Monday,
Tuesday.
and
This was a holiday work.
Ariana had 24 hours to get his proposal in. And so from that standpoint, and I did ask Katie to check on some of the websites he has already developed. And according to Katie, they are very good.
Should included a front page of one of his pages for you, and
Right, I
I
got
did
that.
send you by email a list of, because I only received it later this evening, a whole list. I did send everyone an email copy of the
And then
pages.
we all
Well, that's
know
part of why I don't
the
feel-
Maeve of the board.
I know,
This
but-
is a major concession.
But this is part of why I don't feel comfortable doing this, is that we only got this stuff today. I have not had time to read any of this.
May I suggest, you want to pay for this out of this year's budget? and we're not going to be able to.
I mean, vote however you want to vote. I'm gonna vote no. That's okay with me.
No,
That's
I-
Is there any other discussion about this? All right.
And I'd like to have it done as well. I'm not, and even if we hire this
No, I
person, I just
understand
want to
what
read
you're
the
saying,
full
but
proposal before I vote on it,
I mean, I trust Rebecca's judgment on this. She knows about websites. Nancy was very impressed. So that,
I mean, both those things give me confidence, but,
right.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
All right. Go back to my notes. This is the training we did, website.
We- I like the idea of going to the live wiring.
We can't find anyone to do it, is the problem. We can't find anyone who can give us a price.
Well, but the BOCES, you're gonna go to BOCES?
Yeah, we're gonna try both.
I think that's a
Yeah.
brilliant idea.
Yeah, Nancy thought of that one.
Actually, I recommended our guide to her.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, this is, it doesn't really bind us to much of anything except accepting help.
Oh, the letter?
This is the letter from Tiffany Zazula at Pace. They're asking for us to sponsor their application to greener communities. And what they're going to do, I'll just read you this paragraph. The Land Use Law Center is applying to the Cleaner Greener Communities program for funding to provide training and technical assistance to help local governments adopt land use policies to create sustainable neighborhoods. We would like to provide this support to you at no cost to your community. We'll only need your help identifying elected officials and others to attend, and we will need your commitment to seriously consider adopting one or more sustainable neighborhood strategies as a result. So they're applying for this grant to do trainings for local governments. They're asking us to both support their application and then participate in the program if they get funded.
I clearly love this because I want them to support us in creating a sustainable neighborhood. My only question is that we are also applying for a Cleaner Greener Community grant. That's what the solar permitting is. And does our supporting them going to
I don't think so,
conflict
because
with the grant that
they
we're
give
applying for?
multiple-
Is it the same pool of money?
Why don't we ask each other to mutually support each application? We're happy to support yours if you'll support ours.
Well, I don't think I don't know if support would
You
not,
want to be more diplomatic than that, I think.
No, I just don't think. I don't know
Well,
if
I
it's
think,
necessary.
no, I'm saying I don't know if we need their support because they want our support because we would be one of the participating communities
Well, and-
that they would get money to help.
They're very interested in the farm out here too, and all of that, so, Jason?
No, that's Glenwood you're thinking.
What do you think?
I think we should support them because, I've done trainings with them
I'll say
in the
it.
past. I've been a trainer. They do amazing work.
I mean,
And it's
can't
totally
we
worth
just,
support. It's
can't
very
we
worth support.
find out whether or not this conflicts with our community grant?
How about we do, my motion will be to send this letter on the condition that it doesn't
They had
conflict with others. I'll ask Mark Flower.
They had different categories that you could apply for.
Right, that's
This
what-
is not the same category as we're applying for. Solar was in a different category.
I don't know that we need any more support, but I think that Pace does a lot
Oh,
of
they
good,
do excellent
Yeah.
work.
good
Oh, yeah.
training.
I seconded your motion.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm comfortable with this.
All right. All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
And now we have
Mark Lauer.
Wait, why do I have waste hauler again on mine? Was there something else about that?
That was the resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And now Mark Lauer's letter.
Request for
Request for
40,000.
Where,
I'll move that.
I don't see this.
I don't have that. What? Do I have it, please?
Okay, you should have it. If you don't, I'd be happy to give this and
Would I-
send it down to
Pass it
everybody else
down.
who needs.
Pass it down. Are we
Good
doing this
night.
tonight?
Good night.
We want to get the iPad here.
I hope the flooding ends.
It's on the agenda.
This is, I just got this tonight. We've been waiting to get, do you want to update us on where we went today with Tech Smiths?
Yes.
Well, wait, are we doing one thing at a
Can
time?
I
Yeah.
see it?
Yeah, I just wanted to read it.
I will have to update. I'm gonna close the door while we're.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Because I didn't get that either.
I wanted to read it.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Okay. don't think I got it. I don't think I did. Oh,
So, I don't understand, this isn't saying that we will absorb anything.
let me see,
Katie,
Yes, ma'am.
can you explain this to me?
It is something that we've done every year, Ms. Mark. It's
But this doesn't say we're gonna take responsibility for any excess payment.
It's committing that if the project goes over the $600,000, but not to exceed the 43,000, that the village will put out the funds to not
Doesn't
exceed.
say that.
That's what Mark told me when he spoke to me
This
today.
letter does not say that.
Did I perhaps give you the wrong?
Church Street to North Church.
Is that the policy? Oh, wait.
Yeah, no, that's CDBG.
Hold on. I perhaps gave you the wrong. My apologies if I did.
Yeah, this is,
Wait. I perhaps gave you the wrong
agree,
thing.
Rebecca, that's not.
yeah, this is, the permanent easement from Church Street to North
Nope,
Chestnut.
then it's my mistake. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Please forgive me. Give me
So
one
why is
second.
that? Why do we have that one?
Because Jason also has to sign that. Pardon me. I'm so sorry. I gave you the wrong piece of paper. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. We can move.
I don't have it.
Yes. I will get you another copy.
No, but I need to see one.
Certainly. Rebecca and Ariana are looking at it right this second.
Oh, they have one? Okay.
Yes. It's a neat.
She just gave it to us.
Okay. I would have thought that would have been part of his presentation and request from us when he was here.
I didn't even get it till very late this afternoon.
No, I'm just,
I can understand exactly what you're saying. I didn't receive it till very late.
right.
Has everyone read it?
Sally,
I haven't
thanks
seen
you.
one.
You haven't seen it yet?
Thank you. This would be a later funding borrowing, don't you think, Jason? I
Probably.
mean, we would not borrow it till we needed it.
Yeah, and we wouldn't take it out of our reserves, I'd imagine.
Right, we wouldn't take a loan out until we,
Mhm. Or just get rolled into our next bond anticipation note.
all right, I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to adjourn.
Not quite yet.
Oh, I thought we were done. I have nothing else.
No, I just have one quick thing in executive session.
Do we need executive session?
Yeah, because it's negotiations for a contract with Mountain Laurel.
Oh, right.
So I'll move
to executive session.
Okay, I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
Can we let Katie go home? Because are we gonna take any action? We're not. You're
No.
just gonna catch us up to date, right?
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
I have a piece of whatever you're chewing on?
Yes, please.
Ginger
Thank
candy.
you.
Tom, help yourself as
I
well.
move to executive
Whatever
session
you're
after
chewing
cigarette break.
No cigarette break. We're gonna be done so soon.
Yeah.
Is that done well?
Not very smooth. What? Yeah, you guys are good.
Rebecca, you'll email me the details? Thank you, miss.
I know.